YouTube friends! Welcome back to my channel, habloMoney. If you are interested in this kind of content, like money, saving, and budgeting, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing with your friends, and turn on your post notifications so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Today we are going to be doing Happy Mail and sinking funds. Let's get on with the video.
Thank you to my little helper, Amaya. She did the introduction today. Thank you for joining us again. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you like the content. Today, as we said, we will be starting with some Happy Mail I received from Etsy, and I will leave all the links below. If you are interested or like what you see, please feel free to either comment or check them out on Etsy. The first one being our new sticker from Gilmore Girls. It says, "You'll meet an annoying woman, give her coffee, and she'll go away." And of course, I love coffee and I love the Gilmore Girls, so this was perfect for me. I'm not sure exactly where I'll stick it. Right now it's just temporarily placed. And it's from Paper and Field, and you can follow them at the links here below. I will also include them in the description of this video. My next shout out is going for Plan with Layla Blue on Etsy. She made a customized, beautiful Gilmore Girls cash envelope. Sorry, I hope you can see the details on that. For those Gilmore Girl fans, if you're interested, she did a wonderful job in the graphics and the execution of each of the items. The coffee, Luke's cap, the Jeep, and Yale, and Stars Hollow. So yes, if you want to check her out, she's at Plan with Layla Blue, Etsy.com, and I will also leave the description below. My last shout out is going to go to, and I don't have the exact description, is for these $500 bill inserts. They're Starbucks cups. If you haven't noticed, I really love coffee, and I just thought these were perfect placeholders for the $500 bills, which I didn't already have. And she included these wonderful looking things, and her name is Flirt, and I'll leave her link down below so you can go ahead and check her shop out and support small businesses. So let's get started. So as I quickly alluded to my prior video, to the sinking funds, I wanted to touch base on those items and simplify them for those of you who have never heard of a sinking fund or who don't currently practice a sinking fund. And I just want to kind of divide. There's many other videos and other descriptors. The sinking funds are basically a rainy day fund. So unlike a budget, which is elastic and it changes as your life conditions change, there's realistic margins of safety and impulsivity when you direct your money to specific items. So if you plan your spending for maximum satisfaction with given income, you're going to be saving ahead. And basically we're going to jump into those sinking funds that allow you to accommodate those things that you're saving for, whether it's a car, an apartment, a home, or just to set up your future in a way that allows you to save more and live more freely or give more freely. Whatever your values and goals are, they will align. So just for the sake of this video, I will go through individual items for myself, but also just in case you didn't have an idea of what you can use as a sinking fund. And you can use any items you have. You can use regular envelopes. I use the cash envelope system, and I will be showing that in future videos as well. We'll be doing some cash stuffing. I use something to this effect. It's in a size 8-7. Of course, they get cute little envelopes, but it doesn't have to be fancy or anything luxurious for you to get started. The point is that any little bit that you start saving now for future expenses will allow you to succeed. So some ideas for sinking funds are not limited to, let's say, your yearly auto insurance. There's some people who pay monthly or pay biannual, and those types of items creep up on you. Or if you have issues with your car, Property taxes is also, if you're not in escrow, obviously. Things like gifts and vacations, they rotate. Things like Christmas, that it comes once a year. Birthdays come once a year. It shouldn't be a surprise, and it's definitely not an emergency. So you shouldn't be pulling out of any kind of emergency funds to supply, Christmas gifts for your kids. It's basically a preparedness and awareness and preparedness. Things like car repairs, or like right now I'm trying to save for a new phone because mine is old and clearly it doesn't have enough memory. So things like that. These are just some of the items. I don't have all of these categories. And again, personal finance is just that. It's personal and it's personally tailored to you. So you can use these categories. You don't have to use them. Maybe you need to save for something else, something that is, like summer camp. That's one of those items that I rarely find on people's sinking funds, but for me it's really important because it comes every summer and it is vastly expensive, especially where I live here. So that's some ideas for the sinking funds. Here I can give you some categories and you can itemize them in terms of the amounts and the totals. So let's say your auto repairs will be 1,000. Divide those into, let's say, monthly payments or bi-monthly or biannual, depending on how you get paid or how you categorize your budget. So home repairs can be very, very costly. Something like a new sink, a new faucet, a window broke, anything that you don't want to take and use a credit card. The point of these sinking funds is really to be in a cash flow basis and not have to dip into prior savings or savings that you've worked so hard to do, like your 401k and things like that. So just big ticket items, vacations and trips that you can plan ahead for without using a credit card. I'm a big advocate. I am a credit card user, but I don't advocate for that, and I don't advocate for credit use if you have the cash available. If you can cash flow things, to me, it just makes life a little bit easier, and it frees up a lot of your, credit scores and the freedom to do what you wish, and it weighs heavier when you use cash. So here are some other categories that I like to use. Excuse me. So for auto repairs, home repairs, services, work-related items, there's like teachers who need recertifications or for exam purposes. This is a good item to have in one of your buckets or one of your sinking funds. Things like wellness. If you're sick or you're prone to be sick, or you get the flu every year, things like that. Let's be prepared and let's start putting or itemizing a certain amount each pay period, or each every 2 months you want to have a certain amount. You can make your own goals as to what that amount should be or could be. Holidays and Christmas, we love to decorate. You can itemize this to yourself. I like to separate my holiday gifts and my holiday decorations to be two different ones. You can do whatever you please or whatever makes you feel comfortable. Things like events. Sometimes, we have a baby shower at work, or, somebody invited you to a party or an expensive event. Funerals can sometimes cost. Maybe you want to buy somebody some flowers and you don't want to dip into your credit cards. You don't want to use your food money to pay for flowers. Things like benevolence. If you'd like to support charities or small businesses, or any school fundings and things of that nature, that's something that you also would apply to a sinking fund category. That is just some other ones that I had here. Oops, sorry everyone. School fees. So I currently have some loan tuition debt. So I will be applying a new school loan sinking fund for that, because I can't yank six grand at a time. But little by little, I can apply, let's say, $200 every 2 months, or bi-weekly or bi-annual. Bi-monthly, I should say, depending on how you get paid. Some people get paid weekly, some people get paid bi-weekly. I only get paid twice a month, so that should give you an overall example. Any extra change, just put into a piggy bank or save, or extra cash you can deposit into income. Use rewards that you can use these as your sinking funds, like things like eBays and PayPals and things of that nature. This was a synopsis that I had originally put together for monthly, and how I would divide them. Divide them every 2 weeks. So I would half it, but the envelopes, cash envelopes, would hold that. Another thing I did want to mention is that sinking funds versus cash envelopes, to me personally, is totally different. So while sinking funds can be variables and long-term expenses, I also use cash envelopes such as these that I keep in my wallet, where I just apply a certain amount for the week, for the spending of the week, and that is it. So basically this would be my pay money, right? So these are important categories to me. These are revolving. We use these every week, and they're really important to have. You don't have to have these specific categories or these pretty envelopes. You can use these, or you can use one of the dollar store dividers. Just categorize each one to your liking or to your needs, obviously. For my sinking funds, I do have them divided into 2 binders. You don't have to go binder crazy like me, but I love these things, and it helps me stay focused and aligned. I'm just gonna move this over. And this is my revolving. So these are my variables. So this, sometimes I use it during the week, sometimes I use it once a month, depending on what the needs are for me and my family. And these are the categories that I showed in my first video that I filled up last week. And it's basically categories that I'm going to use, so such as an emergency. So let's say I had to run today to, go to my mom's or something like that, or I don't have a vehicle, so I would have to pull out from here to use it for transportation purposes if it wasn't already in my cash envelope. Then I do my personal things, because sometimes, I want to buy myself something nice. Same for my daughter, same for my boo, same for family. So these are family outings. Like this past week, we went to go see a movie, and it was a community event, so we had to pay like $3 a ticket, and I pulled it out of here because it is a family event. Things like your beauty and your nails, it can be costly. My nails, obviously, I haven't done them, but it could go upwards of $100. If you want to get them, no one's telling you not to get them. Get them, just save for it here. Next thing is beauty. Again, my ladies, we know our hair is very expensive. Start clocking them in here. $5, $1, $2, whatever you have. If you know your haircut costs $60, or to get it to dye or highlights, things of that nature, and it's $200, and you want to tip the lady or the gentleman, just plug it in here, and you don't have to worry about pulling it out of somewhere else where you really, really need it. So of course I speak ill about my phone, and it completely dies on me. So as I was saying, I think I was showing you my sinking funds, but these are my cash envelopes. For those of you who might be interested, you can find them on Etsy. I think I will link the specific shop below. And as I alluded to in my last video, and I quickly want to touch base, my cash envelopes will be those recurring expenses that happen daily and weekly and perhaps monthly. So like eating out, we'll try not to eat out every week, although that's become a habit. Household items like cleaning, toiletries, paper towels, things of that nature. My sinking funds for the short-term variables are those things that I may or may not need during the month. So things like getting my nails done or getting clothes. We don't really shop too much, but when we do, we do. And I always like to have a little extra for myself, my daughter, my boo, family activities that are not necessarily in my budget for the week. So even if it's like an extra pizza or things like that, or an extra event like a school event that I have to pay a ticket for, I will remove it from this bucket. Speaking of seasonal, these seasonal items, I have them as short term because for the most part, they will either go into the short term variables or into the long term depending on the time frame. So things like Christmas, I will start saving, let's say July or January, for instance. This can become either a long term goal for me to save, or it can remain under my short-term variables, which I currently have because we're getting close to Christmas and we have to tighten up on that as well. Same thing for Black Friday and things like holidays. Like if you know Valentine's is coming up, we might want to move that up. If you're anything like me, I just like to divvy them up. Some people just keep them in their short-term categories and they pull up from there. It really doesn't matter. It's just a preference. And for long-term buffers, these are exactly what they are. So I'm saving for a house. We all know how expensive homes are. And saving for 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses. Things like technology. I've actually moved this between long-term over to the short-term because I truly need a new phone. Disney trips and vacations and savings because, because life. And you never know when you need a little extra child. I'm sorry, extra savings. I was reading child. With that said, so that's it for me and my sinking funds. Thank you for joining me. If you like this type of content, I will go through a budget video this week. So thank you for joining me, and don't forget that it costs nothing to be kind.